Welcome to the NCDWI Guy podcast, where defenders of the Constitution assemble to prepare for courtroom battle and firm owners gather to develop marketing strategies that will revolutionize the practice of criminal defense. Here's your host, the NCDWI Guy, Jake Minnick.
Hello, fellow freedom fighters, and welcome to episode 194 of the NCDWI Guy podcast. On today's episode, we are talking about designing the perfect work week. Designing the perfect work week. If you have a feeling that your work week is killing it week after week, the things that are on your schedule are the exact things that you are hoping to do long-term as well as in the particular moment, this episode is not for you. If you feel your work week is chaotic, disorganized, you're spending time doing things that you wish you didn't have to, then this episode is for you. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun episode designing our perfect schedule. Before I dive into today's content, I have some exciting news to share and an amazing opportunity for you. If you are asking one of the two following questions, then this promo, this opportunity is going to fit perfectly into your life. So if you're asking one of these two questions, if you're asking this question, how do I start a criminal defense firm? How do I start a criminal defense business? Then this opportunity that I'm about to tell you about is for you. If you're asking this question, how do I run a better criminal defense or better traffic business, better criminal or traffic law firm, then this opportunity is also for you. Now, if you're not asking one of those two questions, please give me a call because I'm going to tell you, you're listening to the wrong podcast because this podcast is for criminal defense lawyers and traffic lawyers. So you may be spending your time in a place that you shouldn't be spending your time. Or B, you're going to have to give me all of your secrets to success. Because if you're not asking the question of how do I start a criminal defense firm or how do I make mine run better, and you are in the business of criminal defense, then I would like to have the secret sauce that makes it so that you are not looking to improve your business, your law firm, your practice. So give me a call if you're not asking one of those two questions. But if you are asking, how do I start a criminal defense firm or how do I build a better one, then the Freedom Fighter Summit in September of this year, September 26th and 27th, is for you. If you missed out on the Freedom Fighter Summit back in October of 2023, then you really did miss out on an amazing opportunity to grow your firm, to improve the practice that you have already built, to start your law firm, to give a better client experience, to make a difference in your community. If you're looking to do those things, the Freedom Fighter Summit is for you. And as we go into 2024, at this time last year, kind of first week of January last year, we had sold 2 tickets to the Freedom Fighter Summit. To date, we have 37 tickets sold for 2024. Over half of the people that attended the summit in October have already re-registered for 2024. I know there are going to be others that attended this past year summit that are going to be signing up here in the coming weeks because they've told me they are. And we've got an incredible group of speakers coming to this year's summit. Incredible opportunity to network with other business-minded law firm owners and their teams. We had over 20 team members at last year's summit. I think it was actually closer to 30, 35 at last year's summit. This year, we already have more than half of the registered attendees as team members, non-lawyers that are coming back to this year's summit. So if you want to get 40% off your ticket to this year's incredible Freedom Fighter 2.0 Summit, use the code early adopter. You're going to have to sign up soon. This code is only going to be good through February. This is an event that we are capped out in terms of space. We're hosting it at the exact same location, the Hilton in Biltmore Park that we did last year. And the max capacity of that location is about 120 people. They've told me 110. I think we could probably get up to 120. So that's what we're shooting for. So that's the goal. 120. We're going to have no issue meeting that goal. We've already got close to a third of the seats filled. 37 people have signed up. We've got close to a third of the seats filled with 9 months out from the conference. So if you want to take advantage of not only getting a seat, but getting it at a 40% discount, it's time to pull the trigger. It's time to take your practice to the next level. Now, moving into today's conversation, this was actually inspired by a recent workshop that I did with Freedom Fighter Summit attendees. There is the cost of coming to the summit, but we have a number of programs and events between last year's summit and this year planned for those that attended the last year's summit at no additional cost. And one of those was our Q1 kickoff workshop that we did back in mid-December. And we talked a lot about how to have a ideal schedule during that conversation. And I'm going to go down a different path than I went during that kind of interactive conversation. It was awesome learning from the people that joined into that discussion, the Freedom Fighter Summit attendees that were able to make the workshop. I just took a ton of great thoughts away from that workshop. I had a page of notes from our conversation. And again, just awesome networking with other business-oriented criminal defense and traffic lawyers. So, in terms of designing or building the perfect work week, designing the ideal work week, what does that look like? Well, let's talk about what does it mean to design. It means to create, fashion. This is from Merriam-Webster Dictionary. To create, design means to create, to create, fashion, execute, or construct according to plan. To create, fashion, execute, or construct according to plan, or to conceive and plan out in the mind. To conceive and plan out in the mind. It means being intentional. If your calendar is controlling you, as it is for most criminal defense and traffic lawyers, then this episode is up your alley, because we all desire to have a schedule that we have put together, a schedule that is not controlling us, but one that we are in control of, one that we have designed, one that we have built, one that we have created. Now, this is not a time hack episode. I've done a couple of time hack episodes. Back on episode 27, I talked about playing with a lead, the importance of getting up early. I've done several episodes where I've talked about how to be efficient in court, what time to get to court, how to try to put multiple cases on the same docket day, and be intentional about being efficient with your time in court. This is not a time hack episode. This is about a philosophy of your time, about how to think about your schedule and the particular events that you have scheduled during your week. Because no matter how efficient you get with your time, no matter how efficient you get with your time, you are going to hit burnout, which we talked about back on episode 157. If you're feeling burned out, go take a listen to that episode. I think that will be a better place to start than this. But if you are merely maximizing your time, being the most efficient possible person, but you are doing things you hate, you're still going to hit burnout. So at some point, efficiency is not the most important thing when it comes to your daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. It is about those things that give you the most creative energy. We're here a week out from New Year's. And on New Year's Eve, we talked a lot in the last couple episodes about resolutions and the reason that they fail. One reason that resolutions fail is because people do not build in the time that it is going to take to hit or achieve their New Year's resolutions. People say, I'm going to exercise, but they don't create time for exercising. They're not eliminating things off of their schedule that is going to be required to build in a new activity. Most people's New Year's resolution isn't to say no, although I have heard people saying that some recently, and I think that that is an awesome New Year's resolution. But most people's New Year's resolution is, again, I want to read more books. I want to exercise more. I want to invest in this or that hobby. I want to spend more time with my family or this other important person in my life. I want to learn a new language, right? All of these activities that take time. But as they are making the resolution to do these things, there is no resolve to remove items from their schedule that are going to be required to be removed in order to fit in this resolution. So I think one of the main reasons that resolutions fail is because people just want to keep adding more and more and more, and it's unsustainable to do that. You can't keep adding activities. You can't keep adding items to your calendar. You can't keep adding events or commitments without removing something to take its place, or multiple things to give yourself the time necessary to do that. So, how do we create time? Well, I'm going to challenge you to do a thought experiment here. I want you to look at your calendar for last week. And if last week was a particularly out of ordinary week, since it was the first week of the new year, maybe go back to the beginning of December, maybe take a look at your week this week, but look at your week and see where your time was spent. Which days did you go to court? How many consultations did you have? How many calls with current clients did you have? How much time did you spend in office administration, dealing with payroll or with website design or whatever it might be in terms of items at your office? Go back through and be as detailed as possible. If you've already got a calendar that you can easily print off, great. If you don't, and it's not very accurate as it stands on your desktop, print out a calendar and look at where you spent your time last week. How much time did you put into answering emails? How much time did you spend driving from one place to the next? Get as detailed as possible about where you spent your time last week, Sunday to Saturday. Where did that time go? Fill it out as accurately as you possibly can. Now, I want you to print out a new calendar for the upcoming week. And without looking at what is already on your schedule, because no doubt there is plenty of events already created on your calendar, I want you to think about how you would spend each day next week if you had the choice to spend it that way. And I don't mean going and sitting on the beach drinking margaritas, right? Like that's not what I'm talking about. Not talking about, hey, I would love to be sitting on my couch watching Netflix. It's okay to have a vacation every once in a while. That's not what I'm talking about. How would you design your ideal week if you could do that? How many days would exercise be on there? How much time would you spend playing with your kids, helping your kids with homework? How much time would you spend cooking or engaging in some other activity that brings you energy in life? When it comes to work, how much time would you want to spend in consults, in court, preparing for court, discussing cases with the DA, answering emails, meeting with your employees, working on your marketing, creating your website, improving your website, spending time with clients and meetings and on the phone? How would you organize that time? Which activities bring you the most joy? That's the question. Now, we can take some characteristics from the activities that you like to spend your time on. If you love doing consultations with clients, then maybe you are a salesperson. Maybe you really enjoy that process of diagnosing a person's problem, giving them some advice, talking to them about the solution that you have for their problem. That's what sales is, right? Understanding somebody's pain point and fixing it. So maybe you're somebody that's really engaged in sales. If you love being in court, you know, arguing for that continuance, explaining to the court why your client is not guilty, whatever the argument is that you're engaged in, maybe you're an advocate. Maybe you just are wired to be fighting, right? You're a fighter. If you enjoy the prep time for cases, if you love reviewing discovery and researching appropriate case law, then maybe you are a researcher and a planner. If you enjoy discussing cases with the DA, then maybe you love the art of negotiation. You love advocacy in this kind of one-on-one setting, advocating for your client as a person, as opposed to maybe from a legal perspective in the courtroom. You might really thrive on that people interaction that you get with talking to the DA, a person that you get to interact with frequently. If you like meeting with your employees or team, then maybe you are a natural born leader. Maybe you are somebody that is getting their juices from that leadership and collaboration that is occurring within those meetings. If you enjoy working on your website or figuring out kind of the latest Google Analytics tools and working on marketing your firm, then maybe you are somebody that is interested in branding and building a brand and building your presence. Maybe you're somebody that's interested in marketing, and that's where you get your juice from. If you enjoy meeting with current clients, talking to them on the phone, having them into the office for meetings, then maybe you have this love of counseling people, of helping individuals change and improve their lives and helping them address the problems that they've told you about over the course of your representation, and being able to see them as they kind of check off items that you've talked to them about. See how they've changed as a person over the course of representation and the growth that has occurred there. There are so many parts of our practice that can give us juice. And maybe you're not getting juice from just one place. But if you want to have a law practice that is designed for the long haul, that is designed to last, if you want to get the most out of your work, and if you want to have the biggest impact on the people that your work touches, then you have got to maximize your time doing the things that bring you energy. Now, this is not to say you need to shirk responsibilities of things that don't bring you energy. I don't know that there's many people that enjoy cleaning toilets, but that is necessary. If that doesn't get done, we're going to have a big problem. Okay. So it doesn't mean you just eliminate every single thing from your list that you don't enjoy doing. But it does mean that we have to be intentional about how we are spending our time. And for most of us lawyers, we are terrible at this. We spend our time doing things that are either not valuable or that we do not enjoy. If we are just spending time sitting around twiddling our thumbs in court, answering pointless emails, then we are not in control of our time. If we are spending time doing things that we don't enjoy doing, then we are preparing ourselves for burnout. So, on that new calendar, that blank calendar, fill it up with the things that you enjoy doing. And then figure out how to reconcile, how to change where you are currently, which is what your calendar looked like last week, to where you would like to be. Who do you need to hire at your office to offload some of the current items that are on your calendar that you don't want to spend your time on? Are you spending too much time at work? Are you spending too much time on activities that are not bringing you joy, that are not bringing you energy and fulfillment? If so, you need to eliminate those activities from your life, whether they are work or home related. If we want to have fulfilled lives, if we want to have fulfilled practices, then controlling our calendar is absolutely essential. If you want to bring the best client experience, the best experience for your team, the best experience for your family, for anybody around you, you need to make sure that you are committed to giving your time to that which is highest and most valuable and brings you the most energy. I'm serious about this thought experiment. Sit down and think about how you would want your perfect work week to look, and then go make it happen. Look forward to speaking with you again next time.